everyone, it's Kathy, and welcome back here on my craft dream and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I'm Kathy Champion, and I welcome you in. If you're new to my channel, please take the time to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything that I do, especially if you like what you see. There'll be more of these types of projects coming forth. You can also go back and look at my library of videos. I have quite a few. And if you are one of my returning favorite people, thanks so much for tuning in once again. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm located in the beautiful state of North Carolina. If you're not currently working with a demonstrator, I would absolutely love the opportunity to earn your business and kind of guide you through your stamping journey of card making and 3D paper projects. So that's what I do here. My goal is to teach and inspire. So if there's a technique or something that you would like to learn, shoot me an email, text message, or comment in the video below. And I always read my comments, and how you know that it's been read is I will leave you a thumbs up and a heart on it, so you know if you see that from me that I have read your comment and appreciate it so very much. So with all that being said, today we're going to concentrate on a tone on tone, and look how beautiful this tone on tone is, because I used some glimmer paper with it, and that really brings your tone on tone card up to another level, I think. So we're going to do the same, pretty much the same card, but we're going to do it in a different color today. So let me show you what I have in mind. I have a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 Highland Heather, and these are all Stampin' Up! Products that you're going to see me use today. We're going to bring out our Simply Scored scoring tool, and I'm going to put this in my score tool all the way up in this left-hand corner. And this comes with a stylus tool that fits in right here so you never lose it. And we're going to score this at 4 1/4, which is right in half. This will be our card base for us to build everything else on. So that's all the scoring we need to do on this one. So I scored here, and you see how the line goes into the paper. I like to turn my card over and fold up into that upward crease. That always seems to give me a better fold. And I'm going to take a bone folder, and this is a essential tool in your craft room to get you a nice crisp line. So there is our card base. Now we're ready to build our layers. Now I do have some layers pre-cut, and the first layer is our glimmer paper, and this paper is still available, and it's so pretty. And we're going to do a layer of this right on top of that, and this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have another piece of Highland Heather that's cut at 3 3/4 by 5. This is the piece we're going to stamp on. I also have 2 strips cut. This one is 1 inch by 4 inches. This is 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And that's going to layer on that piece just like that. And we're going to stamp on that. So here's the way our card is going to build up. So that layer on there, this one here. But let's do some stamping before we go any further. So I want to do a tone on tone sort of background. So I grabbed this new stamp set, and this is in our new mini catalog, and it's called Inspirational Sketches. It's so soft, so lovely. And I'm going to do the same one. I'm going to use that flower and this little I don't know if you call it a hashtag or little sketches, but I think it's beautiful, and it's great for filling in around our flower. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the flower and those little sketch pieces. And let's get a stamp block and put both of these on like that and like this. So now I'm going to bring in a Highland Heather ink. And all we're going to do, we do need a piece of grid paper or something to put under So I'm going to grab a piece of grid paper so that if I stamp off, now it wouldn't hurt a bit for me to get ink on my glass mat, but I would have to clean it. So for that reason, I'm just going to bring in a piece of grid paper. And now if I stamp off, I don't have to worry about ink being anywhere except on that grid. So let me zoom y'all out just a little bit so we can see a little bit of everything what we're doing. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna lay my ink right there, and I'm just gonna ink up this flower. I'm gonna do a test to make sure that my pad is plenty juicy. It looks like it does need inking. Okay, we're gonna get a lesson in re-inking our ink pads. That one is a little bit dry. And I always, when I get an ink pad, I always get a re-inker because you never know when you're going to need to re-ink one of your pads. So I'm looking for my Highland Heather, and that's my Highland Heather refill. I'm going to give it a shake, and I'm going to show you how I re-ink my pads. I wasn't expecting to do this, but it's okay. And I have an old card here that I use to kind of scrape my ink into my pad. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let's bring this over. Let's move that out of our way. And all I'm going to do is run lines of ink. I'm going to go back with just some swirling motions. And I'm putting pressure on the bottle so that the ink is coming out. The pad's soaking it up. So it definitely needed some new ink. That's the great thing about buying your ink pads. You'll never have to replace them because you can re-ink them. And these particular pads do not wear out. They hold up, I won't say never, but they hold up very well. Now I'm going to take this old card that I have, and I'm just going to do this number. Just kind of scrape that ink down into it. And then to clean this, I'm just going to throw it on my alcohol wipes. You know, I love these things. I can't craft in here without them. And I am going to wipe off my card. So I had this for another one. This is just an old rewards card that I had it from Belk when they were doing the rewards. And it has since then expired. So I just keep it in my drawer so that I can use it. And you could do it with an old gift card, an expired credit card, anything like that that has that flat edge on it. All right, so now let's try inking our stamp up again. Oh yeah, much, much better. Look at the difference. That's when you know your ink pad needs to be re-inked. When you stamp and you get a very faint image, it is definitely time to do a re-inking. So I'm going to make sure my ink is closed up and set it to the side. And then I'm going to turn this over and bring my cardstock back over. Arrange this right here. And now we're going to go ahead and start stamping. So I'm going to stamp right about there. Oh, that gorgeous. And I'm going to do one. Let's turn our stamp and do one right about there. Do one here. And let's do and Now I'm going to go back and fill in using those little hashtags. So ink those up, and we're just going to come in and stamp wherever we have any empty spaces. Because we're just making a background here, and that is sufficient. Isn't that gorgeous? And it was so easy to make. So if you are a beginner and you don't have designer series paper, all you need is some cardstock and some ink pads and a few stamp sets, and you are good to go. And that's a great way to get started. No one can go out and buy everything they need in one shot. So all of us had to start slow. And I know many people say, oh, but you have everything. But I've been doing this for so long. Yes, I have accumulated, but it didn't happen overnight. And I'm using my Stampin' Scrub to clean this up. And you can activate this with just a little water. And I use one of these little hairstylist uh, spray bottles. And I spray a little bit of water on it and then just clean it up. That is a dye ink, so it comes right off. Look how pretty that cleaned up. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. Okay, stamps are all clean, and we are ready to go ahead and assemble what we're going to do. The first thing I want to do is this paper has a tendency to want to bow and curl on me. So I'm thinking instead of using glue, I'm going to use a Stampin' Seal. So let me grab my Stampin' Seal Plus. It is my favorite. And I'm going to run a piece all the way down the side. And if it goes over the side a little bit, you can just use your finger and roll it back onto itself. Just like that. This stuff is so wonderful. I love, love, love the Stampin' Seal. So now I'm going to very strategically lay this down. It's pretty good. And the reason I wanted to use the Stampin' Seal, I wanted to make sure that I got this to lay nice and flat. So by putting it all the way around the edges, I can kind of ensure that that is going to be exactly where I need it. And then look how pretty that looks on there. Isn't that gorgeous? So I am going to take some liquid glue for this. And I'm going to go ahead and put it across the top, along the sides, and a little bit in the middle. We are gluing it down onto the glimmer paper, so we have to maybe use a little bit more adhesive than we normally would. We want to make sure everything adheres. So I'm going to open up my card, and I'm going to do what I call a little ironing on the inside. And all that's doing is just pressing that cardstock into that glue. So now that is done, we're ready for our little strip. And this is going to fit right across the middle. You could do it to the bottom, wherever you want it to go. I'm going to do mine right about here. And then we'll have this piece that we're going to put a sentiment on. And I'm thinking I want to make this one a birthday card. I did the other one as a thank you. But before I put anything else down on here, I'm going to move that out of my way. Let's put my Stampin' Seal up. And I've got a piece of my glimmer paper and a piece of the Highland Heather scraps. And I got my textured florals, and I want to cut out a few pieces of these florals. So I think I want a couple of these and maybe a couple of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this on here about like that. And I'm going to take my long shears These are in my online craft room favorite store on Amazon. So if you're in need of a pair of long scissors like this, you can go there and click on my link and be able to access those. And these come in like 3 different sizes, and they're great. They're absolutely wonderful to have. I'm going to bring over, let's go ahead and tape this down first, and I'm using my little Post-it flags. I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. And again, I'm going to cut that off. And the reason I'm cutting it, I want to try to die cut all of these at one time. I don't know that I'll be able to, but we're going to try it. So these will go through my little mini machine. So I'm going to bring it over. And grab my cut plates. So I'm going to need a number one plate and 2 number 2 plates. And I'm going to scatter my plates just a little bit like this and lay them in. I'm going to have to do one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one over, and this is our glimmer. The glimmer paper sometimes is a little harder to cut through, so I'm going to run it through and then run it back. And then run it back again. Something like that. Now I'm not going to get my machine too far away because we got some more die cutting to do. And that cut beautifully. So I'm going to pull that up and lay it to the side. And I'm just going to scrape off those little bits that was left on there. And I'm going to put this piece on. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to run this one through. I think I'm going to do one more of these, maybe even one more of these. But that cut also absolutely beautifully. So this little machine is definitely a workhorse. You can do so much with it. So those 2 are done. So let's grab another piece of this glimmer paper. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut it so that it will fit into my machine. And lay that down. Let's go ahead and feed this through. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run it through, and then I'm going to run it back. Just to give it that extra little bit. And then one more time through. And it's absolutely gorgeous, just like the other one. So we'll pull those up and lay it over here. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I want to cut it one more time. Just put it on there just like that. Lay that down. And now we'll run this one back through. Yeah, I think we're done with our die cut machine. We can set it back out of our way. And there is that piece. All right, so we've got all of our pieces cut that we need to go in our little background. What I'm doing is I'm getting everything put back where it was so that I don't lose any of my dies. It's always important. All right, so now we're ready to decide how we're going to put this down. Now, I'm pretty sure that I want to put this piece straight down. So before I do that, I want to decide where I want my little leaves to go. And I'm thinking maybe like that. We can actually have these coming off in different directions, something like that. Isn't that beautiful? And then, of course, this is going to come across and we have a sentiment there. So let's see. Or do I want to run these along here? I really like them like that. Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very strategically pick up my glimmer paper first, and I am going to put some glue on the back of these little leaves, like so. And I'm going to run this right here in the middle, and it doesn't matter if you get glue, this is all going to be covered. And this piece is going to go right here. And then we can lay this piece on top. And again, we're just going to do the same thing with this. We're just going to put glue on these back pieces, like so. It's so pretty. And then the same thing here. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down here at the bottom. I want the little foliage to look like it's kind of blowing in the wind. I think that's so pretty like that. So now we're ready to put this right across the middle. And I'm going to do this, I think I'm going to do it with dimensionals. No, I'm going to put this straight down with glue. So let's put a good amount of glue on here. And I cut this piece to go from the edge to the edge of the glimmer paper. So when you put it down, make sure that you're getting it to the corner, or to the edge, I should say, like that. And give it a good press. You do have a little bit of bulk right there in the middle, but that's okay. That's going to get covered up with our piece that we're going to stamp. So my question was, what color should I use to stamp? And I think I'm going to go with the Gorgeous Grape because it's darker. And I think it's going to make a very pretty showing. So Gorgeous Grape. And I want to do a happy birthday. So again, I'm going to my favorite stamp set, my go-to wishes. And wonder if this happy birthday will fit. We're going to try it. I'm feeling brave. It's crooked. Let's turn it over. Oops. Let's try that again. Much better. All right, we can close that ink. And I'm going to grab my dimensionals. And we're going to put dimensionals probably about 3 or 4 across the back. And then I'm just going to very gently set this down, and I want to try to get as even as I can, top to bottom, side to side. Smear it this way just a little bit. And there is our tone on tone birthday card. The only thing we have left to do is put something on the inside. I am going to cut a white mat so that I'll have a place in here to write a greeting. So I'm just going to grab a piece of white cardstock. Okay, this one will do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. I already know that it's 4 inches wide, so I'm going to cut this off at 5 1/4. And then that's going to be the perfect mat to put inside of my card. Now, the one thing that I don't do is I do not glue in my white piece when I'm going to write on it, because if I mess up in my writing, I can very easily just give another piece of cardstock. But if it's glued in, I'm going to have a little more difficulty. So I just lay in a piece like that, and then that is my card for today. I hope that I've inspired you with the tone on tone. I think this Highland Heather is absolutely beautiful. Let's grab a few gems to put on it. None of our cards are complete until we bling it up a little bit. So for this one, I'm going to use these iridescent. These are the In Color Pearls. And I know this is Orchid Oasis, but it goes very well with this lavender. So I'm going to put one right there. One there. And let's do one right there. And if you wanted to do a bow like I did on the other one, I don't think I'm going to do a bow on this one. You very well could, but I think I'm going to leave this one as is, just with the gems. So that's my card for today. Let me know which one you like the best. I know we're going to have some people that are Team Pretty Peacock and some that are Team Highland Heather. So I think they're both beautiful in their own right. Um, Very similar and yet so different. I did a little bit more of a spray of flowers on this one. I have to say, I think I'm partial to the Highland Heather, but they're both spectacular cards and so easy to make. I hope you'll try this technique. And if you do, I would love to see what you do. Post pictures over on our Facebook group. If you haven't joined, just go over and do a request to join the Facebook. It's Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin' on Facebook, and it is a group you can join. It's absolutely free. You will get all the announcements from me of what's upcoming. You will also get a recap from my blog showing the new projects that I put up. So it's a great resource. So go over there and hit that request to join button, and you will be approved, and then we can go ahead and get you set up so you can share your beautiful projects with all of us. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. So until next time, take care and be kind. Love you guys. Bye-bye.